From the podcaster. Powered by Timber Media.
A very important subject being discussed on the show with Mahesh Natarajan, part of Innersight Counselling and Training Centre, and that is mental well-being in very challenging times like the one that we are witnessing right now. Mahesh told us about the 3 C's, and he also told us about groups that are particularly vulnerable at a time like this in the COVID-19 outbreak. Now, Mahesh, different categories of people, you spoke about some of those vulnerable groups. Now, a lot of us are having to spend a lot more time with our loved ones, in our homes. And sometimes this is not quite as pleasant as we would have thought it is. So what should couples and cohabiting adults be particularly mindful of at a time like this?
Generally, for couples, especially couples who are living on their own, and both of them are working in normal situations outside home, for those kind of couples, suddenly being put into a room where they are in each other's spaces 24/7 can be quite a bit of a challenge, because we're not used to seeing each other so much of our times. We're not used to having to take care of each other throughout the day, because it brings back that old adage of absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Right.
And since we don't have much of time to be actually absent from each other's lives and seeing each other, then familiarity does breed contempt, and we look at each other and start noticing small things that would have otherwise escaped our notice, and we would be tempted to pick up fights or pass comments which then become fights, and there's a lot of possibility of tensions rising. Add to it that each of us as individuals might be going through our own frustrations, and without anybody else to take that frustration on, we might be directing it at our partners, and who might then retaliate with their own frustration.
Right.
So sometimes these kind of situations end up in quarrels and fights which are actually nothing to do with the relationship and would not have occurred in normal circumstances. But in these kind of situations end up making things much worse. And more than that, if it is a couple which has actually had long-standing issues which have been going unaddressed or unacknowledged just because they could get away from each other and try and pretend that things were okay. Now, because they have to live with each other 24/7 for weeks on end, some of the issues that they had sidelined or tried to ignore are no longer ignorable. They are very much in their faces 24/7, and that brings up a lot of restlessness. So one of the things that I think is that at the end of this time, we might see a lot of couples who either become much closer because they've had an opportunity to actually look at their issues and solve them,
right,
or they might be on the other side, couples which are looking at each other and don't want to see each other's face ever again. So we might see a fair bit of that conflict come up in couples. So to maintain a certain degree of equilibrium and goal orientation of actually building up love and connection, we need to hold a certain balance between personal time and interpersonal time at home.
Right.
And when I say personal time, it means that if we had lucky enough to have space, then to actually give each other space, that you don't see each other for 5 hours, 6 hours at a stretch, and you only meet during meal times or other things like that.
Right.
The second thing that couples tend to focus on right now is that the gender roles in relationships tend to get a lot more heightened at these kind of times, where unless there is a little bit of equilibrium or a little bit of equality, the differences in workload, differences in home care, everything becomes so much more starkly seen in this kind of an environment more than other times, and which again can be like a tinderbox ready to explode.
Right.
So to take a little bit of care on that front to make sure that there is some degree of care and affection which spreads to how work is shared, both domestic, child care, elder care, and professional work.
Right.
All of that to be able to pay attention for each other is important.
Stay tuned to this show with Mahesh Natarajan. He's part of Innersight Counselling and Training Centre. He has an MS in Counselling and Psychotherapy, and clearly he's the person we need to be chatting with, and that's what we're doing today.
From the podcaster. Powered by Timber Media.